Hello again and welcome back to Pete's Model Car Customs. I hope you're all well. I've come back today with a bit of a review and comparison to the 1968 GT-500 Shelby Mustang kits by AMT. This is another one of the models I'm slowly progressing in my build of different Mustangs, really. And this is one I have planned to do. I started on it a little while ago, but so I grabbed it out the other day just to have a relaxing sort of 10 minutes really. While I was doing that, I looked around for reviews of it and found the newer release. There's a sort of gold one on a light sort of limey gold. How about that, limey? In the new style of box, and it's a basic kit, not a 3-in-1. And I've just looked through this and comparing the videos. It's quite an amazing amount that you lose. So I wanted to go through the sort of parts of that to show that it really was quite a drastic difference, especially with this chrome sprue. Right, let's see what that's going to do. Well, not only that chrome sprue, which has, hang on, I don't like the look of that. Let's just do that way. It might work, mightn't it? Alright, as you can see, I've been sort of toying with this a bit. I've worked in my lights down the bottom, but you don't get this set of wheels in the new release, and you don't get this dashboard of spare clocks. I'm not sure that these heads are used or included in it, and that's the Cobra heads. I've just laid in a bit of, I've gone for a sort of, this was a Vallejo transparent red, which I thought looked quite anodized-y sort of looking. There's a little highlight on that. Can't even see the screen myself. It's probably better for you than it is for me. Oh yeah. Alright, so I've inlaid my air filter and the rocker covers with a bit of red. But there was just loads of things. There's an oil filter part over here. Well, they sit two ram air intakes, a little moon tank. I'm not sure what that part is yet. Peter, you idiot. And that's not loose, right? Over here is a sort of very odd looking roll cage, but that is a chromed roll cage, which I'm sure it shows up on the box art there. Just inside there, it's an exceedingly low roll cage. It's not going to protect your head at all. So unless that's chrome trim off of they put chrome trim on the seats. No, that looks like a better picture. It goes higher than I thought, I suppose. And there's a low bar there, so I haven't got as far as to working out what that roll bar looks like when it's go together, but that I'm quite sure is it in there, and it looks very low. There's also a complete engine option in this. Most of the parts of which are in here and chromed. So I can grab this sprue out. This has got the different parts for the for a single overhead cam engine. Gosh, the chrome's dazzling, isn't it? With a high-rise manifold in a very crinkly textured, like cast effect on the manifold that's also got across the top of there, but sand down flat to fit. Much like the front casing's got, I think you can get enough shadow to see that there's a texturing on there, along there. There's these two ram air filters. There are the heads for the single overhead cam and a deep fin sump. These are custom tailpipes that aren't in the new kit. I don't think any of this sprue is in the new kit. I'm not quite sure. I've got a chromed oil filter there, two carburetors, alternator. So I suppose that part of the sprue must be there, but God knows what they give you in the new release if there's another carburetor option. But going through the instructions, you know, I've got, like I said, that although I'm saying about the engine, there's only two parts for the cylinder, you know, the actual block. So they're you know, they're doubling up on the block. To use that for both. I'm just trying to rearrange my lap actually. And I've already been playing around with mine. There was a couple of things I wanted to adapt. As I showed in my, when I was doing grills a lot, I started carving this one open, but I had initially only taken out the centre grille panel and left in the centre bar and bumper, but I've trimmed it all off now. So I've got a gaping great hole. Well, I must say I keep the mesh parts, right? If I cut out a whole piece of mesh, in inverted commas, that checker pattern that they've created on there might well come in useful for something else that I make. So I don't actually bin it. You know, I keep that and might make a load of pedals or just an area of tread plate. You know, I could cut that down the centre and I've got two step plates on the side of a pickup in checker. So I don't lob that sort of stuff away. I keep that in my spares box. So I'm working on using this. I cut this out of a really old Corvette. It's a solid, I think it's a 58 or 62 or something. I don't know much about Corvettes. They're made by a different company than Ford. So I'm using that to float in there. And I'll probably make some quarter bumpers that will come back round but will fit independently. I'm certainly not going to fill the whole hole up with that, but I'll mount that floating tooth thing on a bar, possibly having more lights at either end in the gap. I mean, the stock car has two added lights in here for high beam. Why there's not just twin filament headlights, I don't know. So I was thinking of inverting them a bit, and one of the box images shows them painted orange as like an indicator. But you really would have little ones down there. So I don't know, I might just float that on some mesh. Not really sure yet. It's all part of the preparation for the build, really. I just go through and work out what I'm going to change or improve. I don't know, just call it change at the moment. The other thing was the what do you call hood, the trunk lid? No, the hood, the bonnet. This had vents in the back there, so I've opened them up, right, with a few hours of scrapage, and also filled in the line for the scoop that's a cutaway with one of those recesses. And one of the bonuses with me not actually really starting on this kit for a while is all this will have time to really go off, and then I can go in and clean it and I'll know all that will be solid. Because I'm just doing the basic prep work on this at the moment, but I did want to open those up. Around around on the front, I found by doing this, the front valance wasn't actually as broad as the car. So I've sawn it down the middle. So as I can expand it to get this edge how I want it, and that edge how I want it, and fill the gap up. I also had to, actually, even with this as a stock part, it wouldn't fit in this hole. Because down this side, there was quite a lot of overflow from the moulding. And the corner wasn't the right shape. So now I'll build that up. I'm even tempted to sort of take the influence of a the early Mark II concept Mustang and extend that out by something like 2 or 3 mil, you know, possibly the thickness of that lower bar, and extend the lot out again. I don't know how that will look yet, but I'll certainly, no, I don't know, or snuggle it back in, Pete, and see. But I got that to line up and thingy, but I'm going to smooth all this lot out, flow it round, and that. The rest of it is there's some, you know, add-on scoops. Shame, yet again, it's a moulded on wipers and door handle. I was checking the fit of the chassis into here. It's a bit, I think it's a bit proud of the body. I think it should go a mil or two, you know, I'd rather that line was flush. So I've got to check out what's that line is. So you got quite a step down. You know, if you got one line that is lined up, that is lining up with one body line, but you've still got the floor sticking down below, and that just looks a bit odd. Still trying to make sure everything will fit in, line up. I wonder if it's got it looks like it's got a proper wheelbase instead of having it rubbing on the wheel arches. I don't know yet whether you can see the shading of the black in. I've painted the inside black. I hope you can see the shading of where the arch is. I don't know, can you see a black shadow through there? But there's an arch trim line on the inside that gives the sort of cutaway for bigger tyres. Going through the instructions, there's the first sort of stage there showing the stock interior. In the next stage along, there's a custom interior with that roll bar and all the engine changes here for custom bits, and a change to a dual carb head. Moving right along, this one for the drag shows you all the engine conversions to turn it into a single overhead cam. Big block Ford with a twin carb head and the deep oil pan. Plus this interior with the chromed roll bar I was showing a little while ago, and your auxiliary panel. There is also, which I thought was kind of neat, on the Shelby page there, you've got a ceiling console. I think that's pretty neat. Yeah, that's a rarity, isn't it? So that's pretty cool. I don't know whether that part has been neglected from other versions of cars, but that's quite good. There's a quick fill gas cap to go into the centre there. Optional chromed mirrors. And now I said about the oil cooler as a option down there. See, the turn signals are there and high lights there, but the box art showed one version they painted in those in orange. But there's, like I say, I felt there's quite a lot of difference, and I picked up this kit second hand. You know, it didn't have the decals, but it did have all these parts. I'll go back to the box art. Now on the box art, they've shown the grille as those are separate parts to add in, but they're meant to be high beam on a stock car, and they painted them there like a indicator or something. But all this was moulded to the grille and the whole sort of central plateau through the mouth of the grille down to the grilling. So there was quite a bit of cutting to do to get that out, but careful cutting and careful sanding, and I can play with it properly or improperly. Anyway, I did think that was interesting, and disappointing that AMT have hacked, or round 2 have hacked all those parts out, you know, for a few grams of plastique. So with all that, I'm going to have fun with this. Best wishes from jolly old England. Bye.